A lot of people think that the old Mersey beat is well and truly dead. Right, and to prove that the sound is far from dead...
They called it the Liverpool sound. To us, it was just American rhythm and blues or rock. But in Liverpool, it was the exclusive property of the young. You needed enough money to pay the HP on the instruments, and then you formed a group and blasted the city at night. Paddy Delaney is a very patriotic Scouser. He's a bouncer, and he's been slinging yobbos out of the Cavern Club for 11 years. He watched the groups who came here for 30 bob a night become the biggest thing in show business. And Paddy's just stood here for over a decade and watched it all go by.
Well, after 11 years, you know, the whole atmosphere seemed so magical at the time, electric. Everything was happening. People were coming and going. Never seen it before. You don't see it now. It's like a graveyard at the moment. But my firm belief is this, like the resurrection. It'll happen again.
There were over 300 groups in Liverpool in 1961. I was 18 years of age then and a junior reporter on the Birkenhead News, a local paper. At night, I used to play in a group. At first, we called ourselves Tony Snow and his Blizzards, and later we became the Bohemians. You just had to be in a group. One of the first things people used to ask you when they met you for the first time was, "Hey there, lad, what group are you in? And if so, what's it called?" We used to play on this stage in the Cavern, and later they sold the pieces of it, the floorboards, for 2 shillings a time because another group that played here just happened to be called the Beatles. You couldn't see the audience, and they couldn't hear what you were saying because of the noise, but it didn't really matter very much. The sound vibrated off these walls. It was new, it was exciting, but above all, it was ours.
The scene's all changed, of course. The birds still cart their handbags onto the floor to prevent them being swiped, but you don't get so many kids at dance halls nowadays unless there's something special on. Mind you, this is quite an occasion. Ricky and the Red Streaks are one of a dozen groups at a dance to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Beatles' first job at the Cavern. This group broke up 8 years ago and reformed just for this remembrance service to Mersey Beat. For all the build-up, the dance was a bit of a letdown. The Beatles didn't show up. Billy J. Kramer and Cilla weren't here either, and the Searchers said they wouldn't come unless the Beatles and Cilla did.
Well, Cilla, let's forget about Cilla, because Cilla was appearing in pantomime. She couldn't have made it, and I love Cilla. But the rest just didn't want to know. They don't want to know Liverpool anymore, which is very sad because they owe everything to Liverpool. They owe everything to the magazine called the Mersey Beat. They owe everything to the Cavernites who used to queue up to see them. But now they do not want to know Liverpool. It's sad, but that's it. That's show business.
Did you try? Did you go to the Beatles?
I went to Apple twice to try and get them. Didn't even smell them.
Alan Williams is a club owner, and he organised the dance. Alan is a clever little Welsh Liverpudlian who used to be a plumber. He wasn't so bright 10 years ago, though, because he managed the Beatles and packed them up just before they got famous.
I blew my top and I said, right. I said, let's call it a day and finish, and I will see that John Lennon, you never work again. How about that for famous last words?
Once, Alan's club, the Blue Angel, was packed out with stars of the beat world. But now all that's left is a few faded autographs on the back of the door of his boot cupboard. The Mersey Beats, the Rolling Stones, Billy J. Kramer, Millie, and Brian Epstein, who managed the Beatles after Alan.
The scene now in Liverpool is absolutely dead. It's just like a cemetery. They've destroyed our city, these city planners. They've just smashed it. You know, they've done more than what Hitler could possibly have ever done. They've moved all the people to the outskirts, and the town is absolutely dead. So, and the only thing that's replaced our music, the Mersey Beat sort of sound, is the heavy music, which I think is only for the university bods, you know, for the intellectual sort of snobs. And there's nothing really for the working class or for the average person who likes to go out and have a dance and set his feet tapping. So I thought, why not revive the scene again?
On the night itself, there was free drink in the VIP lounge and it was packed out. It was just like an old comrades reunion.
It's very much like a remembrance ceremony, isn't it? You keep bumping into guys you've never seen for years.
Well, they've grown so much hair around their faces, you can't recognise them, you know. We lost it off the top.
Right, thanks very much.
Over here, I noticed Ted Nibbs, the original manager of Billy Kramer. Ted, could you meet Bernie Falk?
How do you do, Ted?
Oh, it's a long time.
Yeah, it's years, isn't it, since I've seen it? Yeah. You were managing Billy J, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you doing now, Ted?
Oh, retired.
Are you? Retired altogether?
Well,
You must be rich.
I'm coming.
Right.
In one corner, there was an exhibition of paintings by an ex-Beatle, Stuart Sutcliffe, who died when the Beatles were still playing in clubs for a few pounds a night.
Is it a sad occasion for you, or is it a happy occasion? How do you personally feel tonight, being
We're
here?
very proud that I'm here because I am Stuart Sutcliffe's brother. Very proud because his memory is very, very alive. Stuart's name will never die, in Liverpool especially.
So many faces, and not a famous name among them. Anybody who was anybody didn't come. If you hit the big time, you got out and bought a big house in London. No one here got much from the beat craze. The groups, the club owners, the managers and hangers-on were brushed by the glitter of having known the Beatles, but few got a slice of the action for themselves.
Well, are you still the Beatles fan club secretary? How's business?
Hi, except for the post type.
You don't have a group anymore.
Oh, we've still got full members, haven't I?
This is Dave Forshaw.
Oh, what sort of thing? You booked the Beatles, did you, originally?
I booked the Beatles the first time, which they actually went out of town, was at Liverpool Town Hall.
Tell us, how much were you paying them?
Well, I paid them £6 for the first engagement and £7.10 for the next two.
Each?
No, for the whole lot.
£6 for the,
Yes,
for the group.
yes.
You must have taken the first picture of the Beatles and Jerry and the Pacemakers and all these guys.
First picture published of the Beatles, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
Still a photographer. I'm here tonight representing the Express.
Oh, we want our Switch Express.
There are people here who are walking tragedies, like Tommy Moore, for instance. He was the Beatles' first professional drummer, and he still only earns a couple of quid a night.
What was it like being a Beatle in those days?
Well, just the same as I feel now, downhearted. You know, we weren't making any headway at the time, like. So we made a contract with somebody and we did the tour of Scotland, and that's when we made the money. Then we started making a few shillings, you know.
Well, what sort of money were you earning then as a Beatle?
£2.10 a night, 35 bob, you know.
Do you ever think about what you've missed?
Oh, aye. Wouldn't anybody, you know. I mean, millionaires and so popular as they are, like.
Well, what made you leave them, in fact?
Oh, they had a car accident. I was in hospital for 3 weeks after it, and when I came back to Liverpool, and just didn't play anymore. Of course, on top of that, somebody walked away with my drums from Alan's club.
Someone stole your drums?
Somebody, you know, half of them, like, and that left me a bit puzzled what to do about it. In the meantime, I just considered it was no use to me, so I gave it up.
What job did you do immediately after you left the Beatles?
I went back to Bottle Works, Garson Bottle Works.
The Bottle Works?
Yeah.
What job were you doing there?
Forklift driver.
The truth is that we all came here to revive memories of what we've all missed. No one here became rich or famous. Cy Tucker and the Squires have been around the scene for years. They made 3 records when agents from all over the world dashed to Liverpool with contracts. But now they play at cabaret clubs and working men's socials, and during the day they've got ordinary jobs just like they always had.
As a big scene hit the town, like the records, everyone making records, you know, I was just about getting married, you know. I was a bit dubious of taking the plunge, you know, with getting married more or less the same month, you know. And that's why I hung on, you know, I took it easy, and then by that time it was too late, you know. It only happens once, a golden opportunity, so they say, don't they, like, you know. I never took it, you know.
I was willing to have a go, but it went anywhere.
I was very disappointed that we didn't become big and famous and make a lot of money, you know. Really disappointed. I think we had it.
Just to carry on and do gigs, say, 7 nights a week, it wouldn't have brought you in enough unless you were really tough.
So now looking back on it, do you think you have got anything out of it?
Nothing, only memories.